It just grew like that.
And you put those on there so deer don't eat them?
No, the rabbits.
Oh, the rabbits will eat
The
them?
rabbits eat it. The first one that it was, that one and the big one over there were the only ones that were here. And then after that, all the seeds started falling there.
Oh, wow. How old? How long ago?
It's been there like 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
That's a massive form. And this is that Coryphantha macromeris?
Macromeris variation running on there. Yeah.
Wow.
Also, it is one of the endangered plants in Texas.
This one.
Yeah.
This one.
So anyway, look at it. There's like a, looks like cyanobacteria. Some nice cyanobacteria. Looks a little too wet to be licking. And of course from the duff you can tell it's mesquite. It's just basically mesquite leaves. Prosopis, which is deciduous right now, as you can see. This is Acacia rigidula. There's even some Lophophora over there. And then of course in the summer this would all be under a light canopy. There's a nice loaf. Check it out, Cylindropuntia leptocaulus. Something's gnawing on this Coryphantha macromeris, probably a conejo. But anyway, yeah, if you're a rabbit and you try gnawing on this guy, man, you're gonna have I don't know, would mescaline kill a rabbit or would just send them on a really bad time? Oh, here's an Echinocereus postulgarii.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Little tiny guy. But this is really cool too, this nostoc, this Nostoc communis, a biofilm.
I see him eating the top.
So the rabbits eat the astrophytum, the star cactus. That's crazy.
Yes, they do.
She's saying something eats the peyote too, but not the conejos. Huh. I don't know, if I was a rabbit, I wouldn't want to go on a mescaline trip, but that's just me. It's just me. Anyway, it's a pretty fascinating habitat. Just like some of the fog deserts. I mean, obviously they get enough moisture for there to be lichen thriving. But of course, you know, when this mesquite is, you know, when it's the growing season, this thing is, of course, all leafed out. And the whole ground is alive. Look at that. There's just lichen and cyanobacteria on everything. I almost feel bad stepping on it. And there's just little Lophophora just coming up everywhere. Such cool habitat. Real nice. More of that nostoc. That basically a biofilm of photosynthetic bacteria. And then there's just clumps, grandpa clumps of peyote everywhere. Of Lophophora. Lophophora just coming up right with the Coryphantha macromeris. And what's that green thing in there? Is it some kind of a ephedra? The entire ground is alive. Look at that. You could have a field day just with the lichens and cyanobacteria here. Not to mention the loafs. Nice ephedra over there. God, look at this lichen, man. I hope there's somebody studying this. There's got to be dozens, if not hundreds of species of lichens and cyanobacteria all over the ground here. And of course, where do they go when it's hot in the summer? Whew. And of course, Carwinschia rhamnaceae. Looks a lot like our frangula. The frangula we get in California. And Botanic Latin is just invading my entire vocabulary. Nice Gognadia, young Gognadia, Basal Asteraceae. Another kind of acacia. Well, no, this one. This is the Berlandi area, I think. Except, yeah, Karwinskii, you know, you eat one of those, you get paralyzed. It's a little bit more toxic. And this ephedra's going off, too. It's just like these pebble plains, this whole landscape. There's no bedrock, it's just these pebble plains, which I assume is just old riverbed that's existed, you know, over thousands of years of the river changing its course. Oh yeah, look at that. Rabbit was gnawing on peyote. Wonder how that went. Look at that. It's this Xiphus, that buckthorn family. It's beautiful. With no leaves. This is interesting. Varilla texana, saladillo. It's a succulent aster that grows on salty saline gypsum areas. And then there, of course, is a large astrophytum. Real nice. Anyway, so I was here, I don't know, 4 years ago in this area and found some astrophytum, none as large as what I'm seeing here. It was all Nature Conservancy land. It's one of the few instances where I'm actually grateful that so much land in Texas is private, because it's protected and no one's going to be able to come here and poach this stuff. But, God, this aster is crazy. Varilla texana. Saladillo, it's called. That's some nice Mammillaria hyderi. Echinocereus. This is a sclerocactus. I believe it's rightii. You can see it's got the fish hooks. There are curved tips of the spines. Right there, nice. Is that one that's clumping? I don't know. I can't tell. It's another Echinocereus. I forget the name. But yeah, this is star cactus habitat. Ooh, look at it. That's nice. Another mam that recesses into the soil. Okay, this is pretty strange. Yeah, also all the mesquites here are very stunted. So I'm guessing the soil is very salty. But despite that, here's a monster Astrophytum mysterious, probably the largest I've ever seen, or the nice lady who owns this land and let us on it has ever seen. And growing right under the saladillo, that aster. Look at how enormous that is. And then, of course, another cool thing about this plant is that it can recess into the soil during the hot summer months. I can't overemphasize how rare this plant is. It's very localized. It's much more rare than peyote. It's very, very localized. There's a handful of populations in this region. Some in Texas, some in northern Mexico. And of course it gets poached to hell. People steal it, take it from habitat, and it's hard to grow. They're very common in cultivation, but they're even hard to grow in cultivation. I've killed them a couple times. They're very sensitive to too little water or too much, so that they walk a fine line. And then I think mites got them. I don't know. Either way. And I think there's also people assume that there's something with the soil type. There's a certain type of soil that they need to thrive. So they don't just thrive anywhere. God, what a strange habitat type. Yeah, I think this is very, very saline, very high in gypsum soil. It's dominated by this Varilla texana, if you want to say like a gringo Varilla, which is obviously thriving here. Look, it's a horse crippler, Echinocactus texensis. And then it's got that opuntia, and then it's got some Hotropha too, but it's under this Varilla, which is where a lot of the Astrophytum seems to grow. So apparently the Astrophytum can tolerate this high salt content soil too. The mesquite does not. It grows in it, it tolerates it, but it doesn't thrive. With the amount of precipitation they get here, which is much more than we get in a lot of the California deserts, this mesquite should be a lot bigger, but it's not. It's all stunted. It's got to be something with the soil, huh? Could that be why Astrophytum's restricted? Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, this is kind of interesting. It's a species of Orobanche, obviously parasitizing this Varilla. This Saladillo. Again, this Aster Varilla, if you say it like a gringo, Varilla texana. There's a better flower. More together. No idea on the species of Orobanche, but it's certainly a Orobanche for sure. He's pretty nice, isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? How glandular those flowers are. Always so glandular, so sticky. Yeah, here's a couple little ones. There's an older one that's died. And there's Thelocactus, the glory of Texas. But I'm telling you, man, this plant being everywhere is an indicator. The salt lover. It's weird. It's so dominant here. Wonder how old these guys are. Just babies. Unlike this big one, or this big one, or that big one, or this guy. I mean, like, the eyes go, you don't see everything.